Okay, so you also believe that the Chinese government and the Chinese people are exactly the same. It's just racism. I think it took me a second because when people are going like, oh, you're doing something unethical, I'm like, oh, these must be ethical people. Let me listen. And then you're like, oh, no, you're just racist.
It's the same shit that it always was. The importance of this is to be able to call out the people in power, whether they be the rich and powerful, corporations through whistleblowers, or the government when they're oppressive. That's always been the same concept.
Brother, are you excited to see Saudi? Are you surprised by Saudi culture? And it's like, I've seen it before, guys. I've been to London. It's not anything new. Same shit, okay? Drink coffee, smoke the shisha, tell the Indians what to do. It's the same thing.
I can't believe he was able to say this. We were lied to, all right? The brave truth tellers of the world were able to get there, and they were able to tell jokes that really, really punch down. So the more you punch down, the more you were able to tell. Huh. That's amazing.
Sadiq, more calls on the shisha. Sadiq, more calls on the shisha. Shukran, Sadiq. Guys, you can't tell Sadiq what to do in London. He's the mayor.
I hope you all are proud, all right? Everyone was sitting here being like, all of these comedians, they're all sellouts. They all accepted the blood money to do a state-sponsored event where they tried to normalize and whitewash human rights atrocities. And then, now that you can see it with your own eyes, you can see the kind of jokes that they were allowed to tell, you know? Who would have thought racism was going to be a hit? That is unusual. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Andrew Schulz would take this route. That he'd just go there and punch down like this.
Bro, so funny. Like, my Saudi friends do the fucking dumb.
I love it when comedians tell you it's so funny. It's fucking hilarious, bros. Oh, I'm crushing it.
They will go to London to hook up with girls who are from Saudi Arabia. You're just wasting money on flights, fellas. You don't need to go all the way to London. You can stay right here and buy a Land Rover Defender, look for a Chinese car on the road, and just follow it until a stop sign. And then ask her for a Snapchat. And if she says no, just follow it until the stop sign. And ask her for a Snapchat. And if she says no, just follow it till a stop sign until she calls the police. That's when you stop. That's when you stop. That's flirting.
Goddamn. We started with the racism. Now we're on to the stalking. Because the brave comedians can tell the jokes that the rest of society can't. They're smashing taboos. I'll have you all know. Yeah.
Just joking about following the girls. I know that's not something you do here because traffic. I've never seen so much traffic. Do you regret letting the women drive? It's just more people on the road. It's 100% more people.
No, there's a lot of cheers to that. That's probably nothing.
And 100% more accidents. I hate to say it. Feeling good. I use that shatoff or whatever that thing is called. I got my shatoff.
I can't believe he was able to do this though. With all the censorship going on, he was able to be like, "Hey, by the way, I got a new routine. This is gonna be groundbreaking. I don't think anyone's ever done this in the history of comedy. I don't know if y'all heard this, but women, they can't drive. they're really bad. Women are shit drivers." Yeah, I got a whole bit on that. It's gonna be amazing. You can talk about how bad they are. It's wild too that this has been such a long-standing trope, so much so that people like legitimately believe it. Like I remember when Hassan was debating fucking Andrew Tate, he genuinely has this in his brain where he's just like, look, genetically women are just bad drivers. All right, they're not good at critical thinking. They're not good at decision making. They're too insecure, and it just makes them worse drivers. And then it's like, oh, interesting. Is there data on this? I wonder if there's just basically like companies or corporations that have a large financial incentive in order to track how people drive and understand accidents, that kind of stuff. Like if they were actually going to have to pay out money if people get into accidents, like if they provided some kind of insurance for that. And if they did have data on that, what would that data say about like men and women and their driving habits? Oh, it turns out we do have extensive knowledge about this because of insurance providers. Okay, and what does it say? It's men. Wild. Oh, so men are the majority of the bad drivers and the worst drivers on the road. Interesting. Oh, and so you might actually have to pay higher premiums. Well, that seems sexist. Like me, as a dude, right? Like I'm a guy. I've never been in a car accident. What, I'm gonna have to pay more money just because a couple other fucking jabronis are ruining it for the rest of us? That seems like a sexism. Yeah. And Andrew Schulz and all the comedians led me to believe that it's actually the women who are the really shitty drivers. It's weird. Oh, it's because the insurance companies are woke. Ah, got it.
I was shatoffing it. I didn't get it at first, I'm not gonna lie. I saw it, I thought it was drinking water. I had no clue what that was for 2 days. And my boy told me, and I'm like, what the fuck do you need this shit? Like, I just use toilet paper, who gives a fuck? And then I had that garlic sauce from Mama Noura.
Okay, I made it 2 minutes, all right? I did my part. I'm officially tapped out. I can't do this anymore. It's so bad. But yeah, it's pretty much exactly what I expected. Because I noticed that no one else so far has had the bravery to be able to post their entire sets from the comedy festival. We've only heard snippets. I know that Bill Burr was like, I was really worried, when I was going there, because I'd been told so many things about their society that like I had told that they were super death to America and people were going to scream Allahu Akbar when I landed and all this kind of stuff. But I was so relieved to find out that the people were actually lovely and that there was like a whole bunch of KFCs and Krispy Kremes and all these American franchises. People have a completely wrong idea about that place, and all he's saying out loud is that I had a lot of racist ideas in my own head about other societies, about the countries in the Middle East, what have you, and then I realized when I got there, as someone who was being paid very handsomely to be there and had a completely different lived experience than what the average person does who might live in abject poverty in that country does, I suddenly realized that they're way more Western and Americanized than I'd previously thought, which makes them cool and good, and I'm happy to announce that. So that's my defense of the whole thing. I cannot fucking wait to read these comments later. That must have been one hell of a paycheck. Remember when Schulz asked people to buy a special because he didn't want to censor it for Amazon Prime, then put it on YouTube a month later for free? Yo, we have state-sponsored comedy before GTA 6. Wonder if he's going to keep the comments on. Doubling down is a wild move. Yeah, they get the jokes they approved. I came just to read the comment section. You don't 9/11 your friends. Oh, just so everyone knows, 1 to 2 million is the price of a soul. Title correction. Saudi Arabia gets these jokes that I got permission to say. Wow. Hey, it's wild. You are getting fucking roasted by your own comment section. I hate this shit. Indian slavery. Hilarious. Every comedian had to do a content restrictions bar material that degrades or defames Saudi Arabia, its royal family, government, legal systems, or any religion. The joke should be 100% more traffic and 200% more accidents. I'm here for the comments. I can't believe Schulz posted this. The balls or the lack of brains? Second one. As a Saudi, I'm laughing so hard, but it's sad the comment section thinks this is state propaganda. In the end, we all love comedy and we deserve to have Schulz and others perform the shows here. Shout out to Shane Gillis for rejecting the state-sponsored slavery comedy. Almost pulled a hamstring running to the comments. Wow. Aren't those the 9/11 guys? Shane Gillis. Thanks for coming to Riyadh. It was an amazing show. See you next year. Props. Oh, that one got a like. That was the first one that I... So Andrew Schulz does read the comments. Only 4 upvotes, though. Yeah, but he does read the comments, apparently. Or at least one of his handlers does. How long did you have to scroll through like, oh my god, sell out, shameless, I can't believe it, this is fucking terrible, oh my god, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, nice. Someone said something nice.
Festival. You know what? I don't think I need to address it. You guys have it all figured out. I think you guys got it.
Yeah.
You guys, I guess I'm this weirdo. I don't operate under, the idea that every government and their people are the same. But I guess that's
that's what people were doing. I get it. Shame on all of you for assuming that every government and the people are the same everywhere.
like you think that the people of Saudi Arabia and the Saudi government all share. Okay, so you also believe that the Chinese government and the Chinese people are exactly the same. It's just racism. I think it took me a second because when people are going like, oh, you're doing something unethical, I'm like, oh, these must be ethical people. Let me listen. And then you're like, oh, no, you're just racist.
All right, so it seems that Whitney Cummings...
I didn't know that. All of you were racist for criticizing people who wanted to go get lots of monies to whitewash the horrifying human rights atrocities of the Saudi government. You goddamn racist. See, you can't do this. You don't get to play both sides, right? Whitney Cummings has had a bit of a right-wing turn as of lately. If you don't know who she is, very mediocre comedian who has obviously had some ups and downs during the course of her career. And I'm not going to try and sugarcoat the fact that it is very hard for women to make it in this industry because not only is it male-dominated, but it's sexist as fuck. So that is true, all right? It is hard to make it as a female comedian in an industry where you never know if Louis C.K. is going to lock you in a bedroom and force you to watch him masturbate. That's just a reality that women have to deal with working in an industry that is primarily dominated by a lot of shitty dudes. And the entire Austin comedy scene has been completely polluted and destroyed by your fucking Joe Rogans, your Kill Tonys, all this bullshit, where it's basically like, oh, we can't say anything, fucking cancel culture, bro, fuck, oh, you know, like on my latest Netflix special, they only paid me $5 million, and then they were like, you can't say the N-word, and I was like, what, cancel culture out of control, bro, fucking nuts, bro, and it's just like, all of you are so rich and famous. You all just have such massive platforms. It's just wild. Of all the people in the world to complain about cancel culture, and then meanwhile, the right come into power, do full authoritarianism, and the very people that all of you promoted, by the way, they're all just like fucking bringing on glazing fucking Donald Trump, JD Vance, fucking Joe Rogan, Andrew Schulz, fucking Theo Vaughn, all these assholes who are now like, oh God, I didn't know he was going to do that, okie dokie. And it's like, well, yeah, he said it out loud. He was quoting Hitler. Did you not notice that? He was saying that they were poisoning the blood of the nation. He hates immigrants, all that shit. They had a goddamn blueprint. A blueprint. Project 2025. They laid the whole thing out. They're like, here's what we're going to do when we're in power. We're going to do a fascism, an undemocratic fascism. Here's the plan. We have it. Do you want to read it? No? Okay. Well, we're in power now. We're doing it. We're doing the fascism that we said we would do. Yeah. You may want to do a little bit more research before you bring on a person and uncritically glaze them for a couple hours. Mr. Donald Trump, I have some questions for you. Oh God. Is it going to be about my plan to exterminate these groups? No. Sorry, what was that? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. Sorry, what was your question? I want to know, what do you think? Nuggies or Whopper? Oh, yeah. All right. I got answers for you. And so when she saw the writing on the wall, Whitney Cummings started doing this thing where she was like, you know what? I'm going to start flirting a little bit with these new MAGA crowd types. I'm gonna put some jokes out there. Maybe I'm gonna make a little joke where I throw the queer community under the bus. They've been very nice to me throughout the years. They're very, very friendly. They bought tickets to my shows. They loved when I was talking about, you know, lesbians and stuff like that. And now I'm gonna make a bunch of jokes that a whole bunch of weird fascist far right dudes would like. Oh, they liked it. Look at them laugh. And they're laughing and they're throwing money at me. Isn't that great? That's wonderful. So you do that. And then, you know, there was a big backlash to all the comedians who performed at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And now people are really having trouble navigating it. Apparently, Whitney is saying that all of you are racist for criticizing her, you know? The weirdest has been, honestly, Bill Burr, who was going on a great little run of actually putting two and two together and realizing correctly that it's actually not a particular conspiracy theory to think that there are a very rich, powerful group of people who are destroying the lives of billions. They're billionaires. They're the rich and powerful, the elites. Yeah, it's not the Jews, you know, for all the anti-Semites out there. It happens to be billionaires of all kinds. Christian billionaires, you know, atheist billionaires, agnostic billionaires, Muslim billionaires, Chinese billionaires, American billionaires, just billionaires in general. They're quite shitty, and they are hoarding all of the world's resources for themselves while making life shitty for everyone else. That's the truth. And guess what? Saudi billionaires suck too. whether they're part of the royal family, whether they're part of a monarchy, they are also very shitty. And the Saudi Arabia happens to be a key ally of the United States. They do have an abysmal human rights record. And this is not something in which I'm specifically targeting just the Saudi royal family or Saudi Arabia, but I think everyone who speaks about it can understand that. And yeah, America and American imperialism, they suck too. So I put this out there. If Donald Trump hosts the White House new Gala Ball comedy festival, I will have the same criticisms for any comedian who takes that blood money, in the same way that I would have criticisms for a lot of the artists who perform for Trump out of nowhere, like Snoop Dogg, for example, right? Like, that really fucking sucks out of nowhere. It's basically like, hey, do you want me to do a pro-Trump MAGA cryptocurrency concert? Yeah, I'll take that money. Well, that sucks. That again, in a lot of ways, feels like you are trying to normalize a really shitty ass regime by suddenly giving your celebrity and your status to these creeps.
has finally addressed the Riyadh comedy festival backlash, and she appears to be extremely rattled by it, because instead of just admitting that she did it for the large quantity of Saudi blood money, she instead just went into hardcore cope and deflection mode, saying that her fans are racist for not distinguishing the difference between the Saudi government and the Saudi people, which is one of the most backwards, boneheaded takes she could have possibly made.
It wasn't just Whitney Cummings. Bill Burr did the same thing. He starts with the racism where he's like, you know, I had been led to believe that I was going to get there and people were going to be screaming Allahu Akbar and trying to behead me and stuff. But they were so nice. And I got to say, right outside of my hotel, what do I see? I saw Burger King and a Dairy Queen and a Popeyes, and like they've got so many of these, like, you know, franchises, and that's how I knew that I'd been lied to. And it's like, what are you saying out loud right now, Bill Burr? This is the whole purpose of bringing, again, all of these Western comedians to normalize a regime that does treat the poor people in that society really, really shittily. And just because you saw a couple of American franchises, that doesn't suddenly normalize all this. You had a racist idea in your head of what you believe people who are Muslim or predominantly Muslim to be violent jihadists. That's on you. That's you having to unpack that part, and maybe good that this is what it took, millions of dollars being paid in blood money to you. But at the same time, that doesn't excuse a regime being shitty. It doesn't matter if that regime happens to be Muslim or Christian or neither, right?
I'm trying to help you sound less racist.
Like, I thought this went without saying, but nobody was mad that there were citizens in the crowd there. It was all about the comedians accepting money directly from the government. And I'm pretty sure she knows this too, but similar to Bill Burr, she has flavored a lot of her comedy recently with socially just and morally correct talking points. Like, she has an entire professionally produced comedy special revolving around the Me Too movement and women's rights. So of course she's getting even more heat for this than some of the other comics on the list. And that seems to have hit her right in the core, because not only did it destroy her entire reputation, but it also gave her enemies a lot of ammunition at the same time. Crystalia, for example, has...
Isn't this guy a pedophile? That is a noble enemy to have, all right? Crystalia is like, I hate the serfs. I'd be like, shit, I'm doing something right. That guy's a pedophile. So fuck him, because he's a pedophile. So yeah, having pedophiles as enemies is what I would assume, because they're very bad people. They're pedophiles. They hurt and abuse children. I'm just gonna skip past the pedophile.
Or a poor, that they're sellouts. People whose dads have points on huge television shows are like, I have a backup plan, a trust fund. You're a sellout for making money. Comics have been doing rants about it. A comic tried to imply that it was hypocritical that I went, because I did a special about sexual harassment and stuff like that. It was like kind of during the Me Too movement. And it's, it might be a compelling argument if it wasn't someone who was just bummed that they weren't invited, because he also believes he deserves 72 virgins. Maybe it's...
Whoa. Wait, weren't you just calling people out for being racist?
that. Maybe it's that.
So besides that little zinger at the end there, this response was pretty underwhelming. I mean, there were so many other things that she could have brought up to make fun of Crystalia for, like the fact that he got a huge neck tattoo at the age of 40 as his...
But also, being a pedophile? Am I right on that? I don't want to falsely accuse someone. I don't remember that being a big thing. Multiple women accused comedian Chris Lee of sexual assault and abuse. Multiple women came forward on Tuesday to accuse Chris Lee of sexual assault, harassment, and abuse. After years of the comedian podcast host was hit with a wave of misconduct allegations. In an interview with Rolling Stone, 10 women accused Lee of predatory behavior, and 4 of the women claimed that they were teenagers when the comic 43 allegedly preyed on them. Several of the women used only their first names as pseudonyms to avoid retaliation and online harassment for speaking out. 2 women accused Lee of soliciting explicit videos and photos from them, making sexual demands over social media, sometimes in exchange for free tickets to his show. What a fucking creep. Emotionally manipulating them, stalking them, imposing curfews on them, micromanaging their wardrobes, and monitoring their weight. According to Rolling Stone, D'Elia generally denied the claims made against him, but did not provide direct responses to multiple detailed requests for comment on specific allegations, beyond questioning the credibility of some of the women coming forward. 2 of the alleged victims claimed that after messaging D'Elia on social media, they became trapped in a long-term abusive relationship with the Whitney and You star. Other women described briefer traumatic encounters they allegedly had with D'Elia. I'm not sure if he will ever fully understand the scope of what he's done to a lot of women. If the requested videos and photos were not sent instantly, multiple women in the expose claimed that he would enrage and berate them. I began to actually believe I was nothing and lose a sense of myself as an individual person, because you can only hear something so many times before you start to internalize that. Amanda Kupa, a former superfan of D'Elia, accused the comment of forcing her to give him oral sex in her hotel room after he performed in a small Canadian hometown. She claimed that after he ordered her to get on her knees, she began shaking and crying, and the comic told her, "If you just do everything I'll say, it'll all be okay." One woman named Haley, who allegedly received free tickets from D'Elia to one of his performances, said she was found unresponsive in a bathroom after she'd been given a drink by him at an entourage at the show. She allegedly woke up in her bed the next morning with no memory of what happened after she accepted the beverage. D'Elia faced accusations of sexual misconduct in 2020 when a number of women accused the comedian of making sexual demands online, as well as sexually harassing and assaulting them in person. Shums shared screenshots of their alleged exchange with D'Elia on social media. In the aftermath, D'Elia was dropped from talent agents. Some of his famous friends and colleagues publicly turned on him. Comedy Central removed the special white male black comic from all streaming platforms. His role in the upcoming zombie movie was recast. A planned prank show starring him was scrapped at Netflix. In February, he released a video maintaining that all of his past encounters with women had been legal and consensual. He admitted to cheating on his partners and claimed he was addicted to sex. Fucking classic. And so what? Has enough time gone by? Is that it? Are we now Louis C.K., Chris D'Elia, where it's like, oh, you just got to forget about, oh yeah, that was a long time ago. What was that about again? I can't remember all the details. Oh, over 10 women accused him of sexual assault, of drugging and raping them, being a pedophile, of grooming them, of abusing them. Yeah, that stuff. It became a lifestyle. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't ever think I'd had a problem. I thought how it was. I thought that guys who were in my position were lucky and fortunate enough. It was out of control and I never stopped it. That's not the guy I want to be. It's not okay. And I'm sorry for that. You know, for being a sex addict, not for all the drugging and raping and pedophile stuff. Representative did not immediately respond to comment. Yeah, so fuck that monster forever. He should be in prison. Not like, you know, giving his opinion on shit.
Your blood money. I did write a chapter in my book about when I went to Dubai. You guys would know how to pronounce it. You tell me, how do you pronounce it? I'm so ignorant. I don't know.
She also attempts to justify taking money directly from Turkey a la Sheikh by saying that Live Nation is partially owned by Saudi Arabia, which is another insultingly terrible cope.
Any comic who has ever worked with Live Nation, which is all of them, has taken Saudi money. But keep with your little rants. When you get a sec, Google Saudi Arabia.
Right. These things are different. Different things are different. Okay? This is the same argument being done, being like, hey, are you going to play a video game if the company that owns the video game happens to be part of a shitty regime, or the company owners are billionaires that are in a shitty regime? Did you know that shitty billionaires also own... Lance, you're broadcasting right now. I don't know if you know this. On Twitch. That's owned by Jeff Bezos. He's a bad dude. He does very bad things around the world. Amazon's not a good company. But you're accepting the blood money of your donors who donate to the show. And in turn, some of that money goes towards Amazon. So, well, what do you got to say? What I got to say is that there's a huge difference between, again, you know, existing within capitalism. I was born into this world, okay? You know, yet you participate, TM. There's a big difference between that and actually accepting money from a regime trying to, again, intentionally whitewash a lot of their human rights records to normalize outside investment. Those two things are completely different. I know I would not accept the money if, for whatever weird reason, they wanted a random Twitch streamer to appear at the Riyadh streaming festival or something like that. I would not. There's a big difference between that and, like, I pointed this out as well. just because you take money from a terrible place, but you're going to use that money for, say, good, or even entertaining yourself, right? You're going to use it to go to the water slides. Fine. There's a difference between taking that money, but also taking that money and having to then do something on the behalf of those people. Like if you got money from Peter Thiel for whatever reason, it was like, hey, I want to pay you, the Serfs, $10,000 to be on my new Peter Thiel Twitch streaming platform. Am I allowed to go on that Twitch streaming platform alternative and talk shit about Peter Thiel for an hour? Can I do that? Am I allowed? No. We do not want you to call him a human testicle again. That is very uncouth. You can't say that he is a sentient, sweaty cum sock. You can't do that. You got to go on there and talk about other stuff. You don't have to talk about him at all. We'd actually prefer that. It'd be nicer if you just don't talk about him at all. But yeah, you can't talk shit about Peter Thiel anymore. Well then, yeah, in that way, I'm being kind of bought, right? You're buying me. You're buying my silence. That I do have a problem with that. That would be an issue. Versus just taking that money and then going on there and then being like, I got an hour of making fun of Peter Thiel. Boy, do I have some new names for you. Okay, fine. He wants to throw his horrifying money, from his PayPal billions my way. I could use it. I could definitely use it. But I also don't want to be silenced in the process. That's kind of the difference, right? And every person here has now the ability, since they're all such brave truth tellers, to come forward and be like, here's the reality. I was not allowed to say anything bad about the royal family, but I'm going to now because I'm a comedian. I'm a brave truth teller. Instead, it's like you want to attack people who have a problem with this. It's like, well, fucking all of you, you're racists. You're racists because you don't allow me to take millions of dollars from Saudi Arabian government forces. That makes you racist. It's like, okay. Also, you're hypocrites. All of you are hypocrites because you've probably been to a Live Nation concert before. Live Nation, they have owners that happen to be in Saudi Arabia.
Be a Live Nation, so you can be informed on the fact that anyone who has worked with Live Nation, every stand-up comic, has taken...
Surfshark never coughed up that shark for you? That's true. Surfshark. I demanded a literal shark. They never even approached me.
And Saudi money. Google that, just so that you know what you're talking about.
Or bought a ticket through Live Nation.
Or bought a ticket through Live Nation, went to a Live Nation event. All the actors who are represented by William Morris Agency, which is all of them, if you want to send them notes too.
So yes, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund used to own roughly 5.7% of Live Nation around 2020. But owning shares in a publicly traded company is not the same as having direct control or being the puppet master of the comedian's performance.
Also, you don't got any other choices when it comes to it. They won. They won Monopoly. Live Nation is the only company you can go to buy tickets for a live show. Like, sure, you could protest them by never seeing live music again, ever. But did you know it's so bad that you're not allowed to book a concert at a stadium unless you do it through Live Nation? Other people have tried. Like Rage Against the Machine, for example, for their recent tour with RTJ, they wanted to be able to not go through Live Nation and all that kind of stuff. You don't get the venues. You don't get to play the stadiums. You don't get to play the Coliseums. You don't get to play any of that kind of shit unless you do it through Live Nation, their exclusive partnership. They have won. They are the sole now fucking ticket overlords of the world. Very insidious company.
In your country. And on top of that, Saudi Arabia apparently sold their entire share of Live Nation in 2024. So that argument doesn't...
Wait, what? I didn't know that. That point doesn't even hold up, even though it's moot.
Hold any weight, just like everything else she said in this podcast. But I think the funniest part about this whole Riyadh response, though, was that it completely contradicted everything she said on her appearance on the We Might Be Drunk podcast with Mark Normand and Sam Morrill, which happened to air the exact same day as the one where she called her fans ignorant and racist. Because apparently to Sam and Mark, she's cool as a cucumber. People can say whatever they want, and she's just not concerned about anything.
Holy shit.
Anyway, we'll be in Saudi Arabia in a couple weeks.
As will I.
Are you getting shit?
I don't care. No, what?
Oh, I guess you're not looking. Yeah, it's all bots.
I think if you're a woman working in Saudi Arabia, it's so deeply unfair that I will be forced to work when I'm there and read things and read a schedule.
Good point. You won't have to drive.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least they'll have a driver for me.
Yeah,
I don't
sorry.
care. Like, I don't...
Are you on the road really hard
Because
right now?
I know Tim was talking about how he was getting shit about going over there. Like,
yeah, well, he's just embraced. Like, I'm embracing the regime. I'm all for it. I say let's do
you
it.
think you guys get more of this because you respond to it?
We didn't respond.
Probably.
Or like talk about how it annoys you.
Yeah, maybe, because then they're like, we're getting to them.
Yeah,
Keep going.
Yeah, I think it's their way of like communicating.
100%.
With you or something.
She even goes as far as to say that comedians should embrace negative criticism online and that no comic should ever respond with anger to internet trolls, because every form of art will have reviews that are both positive and negative, which would have been refreshing to hear if she didn't release a podcast the exact same day fuming at her haters.
A boycott is technically possible and the record labels would have some sort of pressure. I don't know how possible it is, because good luck convincing like Swifties to not go watch a Taylor Swift concert en masse, right? Like, I don't think, like, a lot of people are not as politically tapped in as you might be seeing that you're watching my show, for example. So I can see a lot of leftists being like, you know what, we got to do this. We got to band together. What's our calling? Well, it's probably good to do a general strike in order to, no. We're going to defeat Live Nation. Okay, so now everyone has to stop going to see live music in totality, internationally as well. And it's like, ooh, that's going to be one tall order. I will say this. Support local bands. That's a much better form of protest. Go to local shows. Go check out your indie scene in your local town, city, whatever. It'll astonish you how many cool local bands do and play original music that you never thought of. And it's cheap and it's fun. It's a great scene. You get to go and you get to party. That's honestly, I would say that is the best possible way to go forward.
Calling them racist and claiming that she accepted the money because she grew up in the ghetto area of Georgetown, D.C.
Well, that's the thing. Like, who are we so worried about? You know, we're always like, cut that out, cut that. We don't want that out there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know. And most people here are probably saying the same thing. Support local artists and venues. Hell yeah, go do that. It's one of those things that like you will spend way less money. You'll have a ton of fun. You'll listen to some great music. You might even make a friend or two. You might even find the one. Who knows? It's going to be an awesome scene all around.
But I'm like,
so fucking
who are
funny.
these people that are like? I think it's the internet. It's just the comments.
So we have to stop talking about it. It's not.
What?
Are you guys on the dead internet theory at all?
What's
No.
I don't think any of it's real. Like, it's not real.
Oh,
Like,
really?
the internet, like, do you ever notice the internet's like, my new theory, like the internet, something will happen, it'll go crazy, and it's just like bots yelling at. I'm literally.
I think that's a lot of it.
Where I'm like, do you guys
on
even
Twitter.
need us for this? Like, it's its own self-sustaining, just like rat king. You know when rats' tails get stuck together? Like,
Right.
that's the internet, and
Yeah.
I think it's just it's not. But also, like, let them have it. Like, I feel like we're the bully. Like,
I could be wrong on this, but are you guys not doing this show on the internet? I see a YouTube plaque behind you. Is this not a web show? You better hope that there's at least a little bit of human left, because otherwise, this is not a thing. You're talking to no one, right? In theory.
these people that we get to talk in microphones, people listen to us, and we charge people to listen to us talk. Like, we get to be heard, and someone else like, oh, I don't like your term, and we're like, fuck, shut the fuck.
That's true.
We talk. No one else
I just try to
talks.
disengage if it gets
Yeah.
nasty, because you're like, it's all rage bait. I think it's, I agree with you that like it's always the most extreme example, and you're like, is this happening?
I think this is the new form of cope, right? It used to be cancel culture. It used to be like, oh, the online mob, the woke, the scolds are coming. They want to cancel me just because I love saying the N-word. Apparently that's not cool for a white person to do anymore. Fucking cancel culture. Now it's like, oh, they're not real. It's bots. Yeah, no. My shitty opinions, my shitty takes, they are not shitty. And people who think that they're shitty aren't real. So I don't have to listen to them. It's like, people just have such a repulsion at the idea of criticism. And almost it's like, it feels so unnatural because, again, like, I get that there's a huge difference between having a massive social media account and having a small one. I can tell you this as someone who's had both, okay? So I know the experience on both levels. Getting criticism of any kind, it does suck, right? Like, everyone, especially even just a call out, if someone's like, oh, by the way, dude, you shouldn't say that. Oh, fuck off. Are you serious? You gonna do that here? Really? I'm not allowed to say that they have lower IQs. I'm just saying that it's unfortunate that they do, that those people have lower IQs, and that's what causes them to commit all the crime. But what, I can't say that? Jesus Christ, didn't know the woke police were here, fucking cancel culture, social justice warriors over here, fucking goddamn. Yeah, that might be a little icky of a feeling, right? And when it happens to people online, all of a sudden they're like, oh God, what is this? I don't like this feeling that I'm experiencing. People have a difference of opinion. And they call that cancel culture. which is so wild because actual cancel culture does happen. It usually happens to people who are being silenced, oftentimes minorities, people who are in vulnerable communities, who are fighting against oppression, who are trying to gain some modicum of human rights in some form of a movement. All of a sudden, yeah, they're being targeted, they're being silenced, they're being attacked, they're being beaten up, they're being fucking charged at by the police and arrested and lynched and jailed and all that kind of stuff. That happens to numerous civil rights movements. Those are the people who are experiencing cancel culture, that are having their freedom of speech taken away, that are actually having an oppressive government. They can't criticize them or speak out about it. That's all real. It's not the same as you having a shitty take and people calling you out for it. And then a lot of people calling you out for it. Like that got adopted by the right and then regurgitated by a lot of the confused left who are like, we should talk about this though. It is a serious problem and it's gonna get out of control one day. You'll see. It'll haunt you too. And it's like, yeah, the same shit that happened in the past is happening now, often by the right wing, right? Like you can't be like, I am a noble purist of free speech. I stood up for free speech at all times. So when the Nazis were like, I want to say Nazi shit, I was like, well, I will stand up for you. I disagree with it, but I will stand up for your right to be a Nazi and say Nazi shit and brand the swastika and all that kind of stuff and do dehumanizing language that leads to violence towards protected minorities. All that stuff I'm gonna let you do because I stand and care deeply about this whole free speech thing. This is important to me and my feelings. I care deep about this kind of shit. But now the right are in power, and what are they doing? Wow, they're silencing all these different groups. They're actually using state violence against people by trying to get them taken off the air, or trying to enforce networks to bend to their whim, or trying to silence their speech when they say that you should oppose colonization and genocide. They're arresting students. They're putting them in jail. My God, this is what we warned you about. See? Cancel culture will come for us all one day. And no, motherfuckers, it's the same shit that it always was. The importance of this is to be able to call out the people in power, whether they be the rich and powerful, corporations through whistleblowers, or the government when they're oppressive. That's always been the same concept. Do not allow people to become monarchs and lords and these fucking dictators and then prevent you from being able to call them out. That's what's always been important. But instead, you perverted this shit for years because everything felt a little bit safer under liberalism. And then everyone was just kind of like, well, I gotta be honest, this cancel culture is out of control. You know, one day a comedian says something and then everyone cancels them. And it's like, people calling out shitty takes is not the same thing. They should be called out, and you should grow a fucking spine because you're rich and famous and you have a huge platform. You got a massive ass show. You got a microphone, a Netflix special, a goddamn fucking $100,000 a month salary. You're fine. You're doing great. If a lot of people are like, you're cringe, guess what? That comes with the territory. You still got a lot of people who love you and think, I love it when you dehumanize groups. Oh, that's hilarious to me. Keep doing it. All right, there you go. This is the deal. Right, back and forth. But why did we pervert this whole concept into thinking that all of a sudden this shit is cancel culture, but this shit is like, oh, okay, well, it's dead internet theory anyway.
First off, thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.